I thought he was doing a rap song about the Jewish rats.
Shut up!
Make way for the Kingz. The Kingz
The hair?
You think the bitches are great because you're fucking seasonal. Nigga, you can't be seasonal. Niggas got this shit's 24 hours a day.
Kingz. Man. You're listening to the Kingz Podcast with your hosts, Karizmatik, Irish O'Neal, and Moush.
Yo, welcome to a special edition of the Kingz Podcast. This is one of our origins, the origin of one of our favorites, the delicious, the honorable Miss Moush.
Thank you.
And I'm yours truly, Karizmatik.
Irish O'Neal.
Moush.
Yeah, I mean, we have to read it. I had
Y'all
to
know
let
what
you
it
in
is.
First, you know, I had to read you in first.
Thank you.
You deserved it.
Make
intro.
way for the queen.
You know what I'm saying? That's why she sparked the El Blunto. Okay.
Yes. It's my responsibility as queen.
So what we'll be getting into today is the origins of how Ani became such a queen in this what we call hamster wheel.
Kingdom, so to speak.
I'll call it a hamster wheel. You know, it seems circular.
The hamster wheel.
Yeah, man. Not like Shabba Ranks. You know, like
What? We don't even know what that actually
Oh, the Jewish
means.
guy.
yeah, that Jewish guy, right? Wow, buddy. But
you for being a cunt.
I think we should fly through. Do we get into plugs on these ones?
We might as well do a quick round through.
Yeah.
What, the old pluggy blues?
Yeah, just a quick personal plug.
Yo, it's your boy, Karizmatik. You can catch me at Karizmatik IPE on Facebook, Karizmatik_ME on IG and Twitter. You can catch me between your mom's cheeks every Thursday and Tuesday between 3 and 5
Changing
o'clock.
every week. How do you even know?
It's a different mom every week.
Oh, God.
You gotta set a new schedule. You know, ladies like activities.
Yep.
And snacks. So make sure you guys find yourself a good snack, daddy, and those are mine. Let's get it on.
Hey, Ani_Moush on Instagram and Twitter. Follow me there. Follow my Etsy store. Buy Moush on Etsy. Buy_Moush on Instagram. That's all I'm plugging for right now.
Oh, yeah, guys, and follow me on Instagram and Twitter at It's Irish O'Neal. Check out the STC podcast, this podcast, Midlife Isis. You know what's up.
And
I feel like we don't really need to go through the fucking principles.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
I think everyone knows them. If you're listening to an origin episode, you give a shit enough that you know that it's, confidence, honesty, social intelligence. Boom.
I'd like to thank everybody in my queendom for tuning in to my origin episode.
Moush, will you do the fandango?
so, Ani, I've always been meaning to ask you this, and I think it's a good time to ask you this question.
Oh, God.
What is the fandango?
The fandango?
Yeah.
I don't honestly know. I just
don't
know
know?
it's part of
I thought it was some type of like Armenian.
something
like,
that Queen came up with.
I don't know, like I just.
It
I
could
forgot
be.
who passed this to me.
It goes to me next. It could be a thing, and I could just be ignorant and uneducated on the fandango.
That's.
Yeah, I just love that song. I love Queen.
I don't know who that is.
It's a lively Spanish dance for two people, typically accompanied by castanets or tambourine.
Oh my God, yo, Did
I learned something today.
my nigga Google tell you that?
Yeah.
Yo, that's my nigga Google. If you hungry, hit my nigga Uber up. Yeah, Uber. That's
Not
the
yet a
proper way.
sponsor.
Not yet a
He
sponsor.
spells his name with 100 O's.
Yep, Uber.
I'll
So
take
we just call him-
Postmates as a sponsor too, but whatever.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Yo, we trying. We out here. We even take from Broche Rose goes Anderson Valley. Too many white words there.
okay. Are we gonna talk more about me?
Yes.
Eventually.
Let's talk all about
This
you.
is a narcissist dream.
Let's talk all about
I knew this
you.
was gonna happen. I mean, I know that everybody who's a host on this podcast is a narcissist. So I was very excited for my time to
Yes,
indulge in that.
girlfriend.
Narcissist? I haven't heard from them in years.
Nah, I don't know that nigga.
Are you too good to wear headphones now?
No, it's just I realized that those headphones suck, and I don't know why you've never said anything to me because God bless whoever has been wearing those headphones. Those are terrible.
That's who.
And you said nothing.
Because I don't get to wear these all the time because you wear these. Anyways, it's not about that. Let's get to it, dude.
All right. So I mean,
I've been prepared.
let's start here. Ani, let's get to the origin of your origin. Where did your original what's the word? Exchange with the opposite sex happen? Like, when did you first get involved with them? What was the first instance of
like
you?
my first
When was
kiss?
Dick first on your radar?
Oh.
Or when? Yeah, I guess. But like, did you
like
start
when
dating?
did I first interact with Dick, or when did I first
Guys.
start thinking about Dick?
So first guys and then Dick.
What?
Because I know for like.
When did you first start noticing the opposite sex
There
in
you
a
go.
sexual
Thank you.
sense?
Thank you.
Probably
And
like the
you.
second grade.
Okay,
I don't know.
okay.
Like young. Maybe, I don't know. I was probably like, I don't know, super, super young. Yeah, definitely like early elementary school.
Early like me, like mine was like.
I mean, like to be biological, I guess, got my period really early. So I guess I quote unquote matured early. So
How early is early?
11. That's pretty early for like
Western
that
standards.
time.
Yeah,
No,
that's
that
not wild.
A lot of black girls
Out of
go
no-
through it around 11.
Yeah, well, I mean, maybe for foreigners it's not early, but like out of my
Definitely.
friends, like that was pretty early.
For European,
But
it's
I
not
was like
early.
noticing.
It's early. I mean,
I was noticing the opposite sex like before that for sure.
so like with me, it's like I noticed the opposite sex in kindergarten.
Yeah,
Yeah, so like you sound a lot
makes
like me in that.
sense. Yes, maybe like second grade was
Yeah.
probably like, oh, I have a crush on this person.
Why are they pretty?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Why
like,
am
why
I?
are they
Why
pretty?
do I want to like?
Why do I feel funny when I look
Why
at
do
them?
I want to like do more than what I'm doing around them?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Why when they look at me, I want to jump higher, even
Yeah.
though I can't because I was
No,
fat.
I was definitely pretty young. I don't know what sparked it. Honestly, I think I think it was just in my biology.
There
to be
wasn't like a
honest.
distinct moment or an event that like engaged it for you.
No, I mean I remember like, like I think all like young women young kids, children, I go through this at some point where like the first time you like rub your private parts on something.
Oh
like,
my God, yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
You're like, oh,
Like, what is
What was
happening?
what
Oh,
was
oh.
your first?
Dude, I was super young. I don't know, like 5 or 6, or like I was on the couch or something. You know what I mean? Something dumb and innocent, like where you just notice it, but nothing that like I guess would have changed my trajectory. You know what I mean? Like nothing like happened. I just noticed. I was always talked to like an adult, even as a child.
Yeah.
You know, so I think I matured faster because of that, in my opinion.
See, that's
Yeah.
interesting because, like, for me, like when you bring up like rubbing yourself up against stuff, like I didn't like that didn't happen for me up until like when you have like did you ever have like a first wet dream experience?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like after that, then it was kind of like like I wake up like face down with a boner. It's like, why is this?
Right.
this
It's always
is
face.
interesting.
It's always
Like,
face down. And what's weird though is like I'd say 80% of them I've been able to stop. Like in the dream, right at the moment when you're about to come, I would wake up in real life and be like, oh, and then I'd fucking kegel real fast. and a lot of times I could make
Catch it.
I could make it. I could waddle to some like toilet paper or some shit like that and save it.
That
and
sucks
then there's
as
those
a
other
dude,
times
'cause
where
you
you just
can't
wake up and
control
you're like,
it.
or
you were
or
that aware?
Or, yeah, dude. I lucid dream. So
Once I learned lucid dreaming was a thing, I took control of my shit. Like so like at first I'd never pull out. I'd never pull out of the dream. I like I'm sorry, if I woke up and I was wet, I woke up and I was wet. Fuck it. I'm going all the way with this dream. I'm not pulling out.
Oh,
no.
there's some of them where it's like I know that I'm like, oh, I'm about to have a wet dream, or maybe you wake up for a brief second and I go, fuck it. And I
You
go
know
back
what?
to
Now that
sleep.
you mention it, I feel like that's sort of maybe where like my first quote unquote like mature thoughts like happened was probably in like dreams when I was really young.
Yeah, but like
But it wasn't like sparked by anything. You know?
No, I completely understand that.
Yeah.
Because that's the way it started with me. But like dreams are an extension of your thoughts.
Sure.
So like they already were spinning around in there, and it's like, why?
Yeah.
You know, like but I'm right there with you. I have no idea why. I don't know my first instance with like booty, but like I do remember like my first sexual thought was about booty. I'm like, what can you do with that?
Like, I mean, the thing that stands out in my mind, like as a child, is like my parents never like baby talked with me. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I just always felt like I was never like, quote unquote, talked to like a child, but I was always treated like a child until I was through an adulthood.
Like,
you know what I mean?
We never have the sex talk. Like being African, we never had sex talk. But like growing up, you showered with your parents. So like,
okay,
like not like you were just aware of these things. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But like you're like, and like they'll be like, yo, don't look there or something, like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Don't, like stare and shit. Like it's like, Dad, will mine grow to be that size? And like he'll entertain the question real quick, knock down the question or something. But like you showered with your parents, so like it was never foreign to see like another naked body.
Yeah,
or anything
okay.
like that. But like, I don't think that shaped it at all. But like it was definitely something that I know a lot of other people don't experience. But like other African kids, I know like they shower with their parents, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I distinctly remember this one time. I think I was in like the 7th grade, and my mom and I went to go visit our friends in Canada.
Yeah.
And we were coming back, and we were in the airport, and it was just like the two of us. And she turned to me and she was like, "Do you want to know where babies come from?"
Wow.
And I straight up was like, "Not from you." I was like, "It's cool. We talk about it in school. Like, if I have questions, I'll ask you."
Yeah, I never really got like the classic sex talk or whatever.
Oh, no. I was
like,
so uncomfortable about talking about that with my parents because I knew even though they said, like, you can talk to us about this or that or whatever, no, it's not about lying.
I know,
I just knew inherently there was a layer of bias on it.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And then there's the first layer of bias, and then there's so many other things just from my relationship with my parents. So, I mean, I couldn't openly ask that, but if it was something very serious, I definitely would. You know what I mean? It never got to that point where I had to, but, like, I remember after that, like, my mom giving me, just, like, handing me books, but, like, being like, if you want to read this, some answers are in here. But like I never read them. I was like, nah, I'll figure it out. And I obviously did, and I just never felt like I needed that. I don't know. I always felt like I had like the confidence to figure it out, or that like I would know where to find the knowledge to figure it out.
Well,
to make a decision
honestly,
on
I
that.
just watched porn, and it seemed pretty straightforward.
Well, mine was more so like it was a combination of the two of yours, because I knew that my if whatever I would go to my parents for would be riddled with like generations of bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
So like, first off,
For
I'm
sure.
already interested in booty, and like I have an inkling that the reason that they disagree, like my mom disagreed with the gay lifestyle until like we had the conversation years later, because they do anal sex, and like I was interested in anal sex first, so it's kind of like,
funny.
how am I supposed to have a
You don't want to like let your mom down in a sense, or like have her shun you because of like what you like.
Oh, that was earlier on. She doesn't dare ask now, because I'd tell her straight to her face. She don't look at any of this shit.
There was one time, and for no good reason, I think I was just being a shit stirrer.
Yeah.
But like, I remember asking my mom, I was like, "What if I was gay? Could I talk to you about that?" Like, I was just trying to like, I don't know. I was being dumb.
She's like,
What'd
honey,
you
not
say?
until college, like
And
every
then,
other woman.
and straight up though, she was like, "Are you?" And I was like, "No, but what if I was?" And she's like, "I mean, I'd still love you." And I was like, "All right, cool." And then like, I was like, "Well, then I could
still
talk
love you.
to."
I just resent you because
No,
I
you
never have
already
granted.
failed the test. You should have said yes, and then seen what her real reaction was, and be like, "Yeah, nah."
Nah,
Like, you gotta.
I couldn't even fake it at that time. Like I'm just like, no. There's no way I thought any other way at that time, but I don't know.
My
It's
mom asked me
interesting.
several times if I was gay when I was growing up, because I'd only hang out with women.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because like it was always very attractive women.
My parents did not like the idea of me being the only girl in a group of guys, like without supervision.
Oh, my mom didn't care.
They
She knew I had
were
no game.
and they were not comfortable like at all with that growing up. So if I was ever going to be in that situation, I had to find a way around it.
Just looking at me at that age, you know I had no game. I had no game. None. Nah.
Joey Diaz talks about having a similar experience as you, that he grew up mainly just around his mom and like all her hot, like dirty, like Latino women friends and stuff. And she was like, he was like, my mom was worried that from a young age I was going to be gay because I was growing up around all these women. So she started specifically dating these hard ass like guys that like give him structure and like teach him how to be a man kind of thing.
Yo, like my father was so like, if you ever met my dad, like he's the most unbiased. He was the most unbiased person in the world, and like he genuinely didn't give a damn. So like he was just like, so there were many times where like he needed lotion, and like my mom had like some rose like smelling lotion. And he put it on. I'm like, Dad, that's woman's lotion. He's like, lotion's lotion. And he just keep rubbing it in. And like, I laugh, but I'm like, yo,
Not
like,
wrong.
the balls on that motherfucker. Like,
No
this
facts.
guy's gonna walk out smelling like roses, and it's like, who the fuck cares? I don't.
Yeah, that's a very confident man.
And so like that, I was like, all right. So like, some people would call that shit gay, but that's confident as fuck. You know what I'm saying? I need this, so I'm using it regardless of how everybody else. Fuck y'all.
Yeah.
Like that's.
No.
Yeah, man. That's why when I say I do something, I fucking do it, yo. I don't give a fuck. Fuck y'all, judge me. Continue on.
What was? Well, I don't know. Did I answer your question? What was the rest of the question?
So we started at where did your origin with this begin? You basically said it started at a really young age, and you're not really sure like why it started or if there was a reason for it. When did you find out that you could actually do something about these feelings?
Like attract men?
Yes.
Oh. I don't know. I felt like I could attract like the opposite sex like it as young as the 4th grade. Because there was like people who, well, not people, like kids that openly were like, "Oh, I have a crush on you," like, you know, like just whatever.
Yeah, before anyone even really knows what the fuck that means.
Yeah, so I mean that inherently gives you confidence of like, oh, I must be. I mean, not for nothing, there are 11 kids in my elementary school class, and there were 3 chicks. So like,
oh
yeah.
You're all attractive.
Yeah.
You know, like it, whatever. But for someone to say that to your face, like it gives you a little bit more of a boost, you know, of confidence, especially as a young kid or whatever. And I was always interested in making myself look attractive, and that's probably just like society. But
what is that like as a young girl? I can't understand, like, cause like I like
Right, the rush of power you must feel. And
it's
you're just like,
just-
wow, I have this power over
it doesn't feel like
entire
power.
gender.
It doesn't feel like
Does
power.
it feel like a job?
When you're young, well, at least for me, it didn't feel like power. It felt like I was being watched.
Huh.
Oh, you just felt
Okay.
like you constantly captured attention.
Well, like for instance, there was like 1 or 2 kids who were vocal about like, oh, I have a crush on so and so, like, and that made me feel like, especially in a small group, if they were so vocal about that person was watching me and that everybody else was watching that interaction happen. So it was kind of like, well, what is she gonna do? Because everybody knows the constant, you know, A likes B. So what is B going to do about A? You know, and it's not like that intense when you're that young.
You felt
but
like you were a living soap opera.
But no, but like it's really not that like intense because like, you know, it comes and it goes. Like little like
No, but,
elementary
like-
school crushes don't last that long. But like that is kind of how the pressure feels as a young kid when you're developing. You don't know what's right and what's wrong to feel. Well, not quote unquote wrong, but like there's societal pressure, and then there's your peer pressure, and then there's like what you're supposed to do, and then there's like what you feel, you know? So if you're feeling attracted or not attracted to somebody, that's one feeling. And then if you're gaining attention from someone you don't want attraction from, it's like, ugh, how can I make myself not attractive to him, but attractive to other men? You know what I mean?
I mean, no, I can completely understand what you mean from having the experience with women and watching what you guys go through on a consistent basis. But you saw how we instantly shut up as you were answering this question. This is an interesting ass perspective because I mean, like if men ever felt that way in our lives, I think we'd have a whole bunch. We'd have actual appreciation for the cat calling and all that type of stuff, you know. Like,
yes, I mean some guys do experience that though. Like, you know,
on some level.
I mean, you gotta imagine like a fucking Brad Pitt or Tom Cruise walks down the street feeling like that.
I mean, celebrity is different.
Maybe.
It's a different thing. You literally force yourself into the public eye. That's completely different. You're just notable. You made
Fair.
yourself
I mean,
notorious.
it's in the same hemisphere.
But the
You're just
attention
notorious.
from women and to men is different from the attention from men to women, because, and this is just like a nature-based thing. This is a generalization, and like I know, like I don't need to preface this because the people who watch this know. But I mean, if you're a man getting attention from mostly women, if any of them were quote unquote a threat, you would probably like end that pretty quickly.
What do you
As
mean?
opposed, like if a super fan went up to Brad Pitt, like a super fan who was a lady, like he would probably win that fight if she was trying to like get on him or something like that, and security wasn't there, as opposed to the opposite. Do you know what I mean?
It'd be way easier for her to lie against him. In this world, it's just a different.
No,
it's a
as
substitute
opposed
of
to
power.
like if there is like a famous woman, like I don't know, Jessica Alba or something, like, and a super fan goes up to her, it's gonna, I don't know, he has more power physically over her.
And
Yeah,
Do you know
but
what I mean?
Socially, women have more power than men.
Sure.
And
Yeah, so,
you
I mean, it's
also
just
think
a
that there's
trade-off.
ever an instance that Jessica Alba's not like with a security guard or
No,
something?
this is all hypothetical and generalization. Anyways.
I mean, it's not actually that hypothetical. Do you know how many times that freaking little Kim has been on stage and like she'll throw like one twerk move and someone sticks a finger right up her ass? Like it's not that hypothetical.
I mean, that's just good business.
$1 million.
It was within my 6 feet corona.
That's how it's
in
gonna
my
be
bubble.
from now on.
If
Oh
it's
my
in my personal
God.
space, it's mine.
That's fucking hilarious. Wow, I mean that for me that's a very interesting tangent because that's a lot more weighted of a social interaction than we have at that age. Yeah, that just carried.
I
a lot
didn't
more
think that was
gravity.
so uncommon.
We don't go through all that
Yeah.
emotionally, at least. I mean, I didn't come anywhere close to that, but like I couldn't get girls at all.
Is this like the first time you're hearing that?
I've never explored it at that age. You know what I'm saying? I
guess
just
so.
deal with
Yeah,
the women
at that
like,
age, we just kind of like we're interested in chicks, but we don't know what to do about it.
Yes.
And we don't. You don't really get much play, and even I gotta imagine, even if you are one of the guys, quote unquote, getting play at that age, it's like you're in 4th grade, so it's like what you're hand holding and like getting a
Yeah,
kiss on the
you
cheek.
really
so
don't
it's
Yeah.
know what
like
to do with it.
it doesn't really even equate to anything really. So it's like,
Yeah.
you know, it doesn't really start to matter until like early high school, really.
Yeah.
Oh, she's someone that I treat nicer than the other girls.
Yeah.
And when I hold her hand sometime. I show her extra attention. Like,
Yeah.
that's basically what it equates to for us. But like,
And it's funny too because it's the kind of thing where it's like, you know, you think about how many chicks that like you went to school with in like elementary or school or middle school that were just kind of like uggos or and then you like see them now that like had a crazy glow up. Like, dude, there's a
Yeah,
couple of
yeah,
chicks
yeah.
that I went
Oh
to high
yeah,
school
for
with
sure.
that I'm like I've seen like what they look like recently, and I'm like, holy Christ!
I've seen
like,
a lot go the opposite way too.
Oh no, and that's
That's the
yeah.
beauty of
Oh,
it,
when you
you
see
know
the
what I
hot
mean?
ones that shit. Oh yeah, dude. Or like it's like the
LOLs,
classic
though.
jock that like, you know, they peaked in high school, so like they're balding now and have a kid and shit like that.
Yo, like, I mean,
I can't believe my 10-year high school reunion is this year.
Wow.
I know.
Yeah, shit.
It's so gross.
Mine recently passed, but like, I'm old.
Yeah.
You feel old yet?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, yo. And then the bones start hurting.
In like certain areas, you know.
Not that puss, right? Oh, hell yeah, up top.
Nah,
No,
that's
That's rejuvenated.
you know.
She rejuvenated that puss. But gotta rejuvenate that juice. You know? Anyway,
Rejuvenated.
you gotta rejuvenate that juicy juice. So where do you? So all right. Sorry, I lost myself. For a
You
second
could.
there. I'm trying to hit you with them hard hitting questions.
So you're discovering you have this sort of power, so to speak, over guys. We're at what, like middle school at this point?
I mean, it didn't feel like a power. Like no one ever made me at that age feel like I had any sort of power.
Yeah, but you knew you could garner attention pretty much at whim.
I knew that if you presented yourself in a certain way or if you acted a certain way that you were more likely to gain attention from the opposite sex.
The grooming.
Oh, for sure. Because like I mean when you're young, like as you were saying, like it's very like basic level like Neanderthal like attraction, and then as you get older and you kind of pick up like your social intelligence, I guess, or like your little intellectual cues about like society and stuff, you're like, oh, this is cool, this isn't cool, or all these kids are doing this, so this must be cool, so this is how I should dress. So these girls are like acting this way and they're gaining attention from these dudes and I think they're cute, so like maybe if I do that, then they'll like pay attention to me. It's like a constant thing.
See, I thought like that like once or twice, but then like there's always like being, and this is gonna sound a little fucked up, but like being black, there's always that overtone of that like, yo, it's still not the same.
Oh no, for
You know
sure.
what I
Same
mean?
thing
Like,
with being
it's just,
Armenian
like-
and growing up in the town that I grew up in, which is like legit, like statistically outside of Armenia, like in the diaspora, like the rest of the world, the third most populated city of Armenians.
See, and like
outside of Armenia. So like it's basically you're taking all of those like societal little cues and stuff because you're intertwined in that community too.
Yeah.
And like when you switch over to like public school with white people, then it's like a constant like, wait, so this is cool here, but it's not cool there. But I like this, but they don't. But I want to hang out with them, but this is supposed to be it's very confusing.
See, that would see like the funny thing about that is that having put you in any other community, anybody else would have just seen you as white, and like you would have just carried on as
Yeah.
normal in your lifestyle. You probably would have learned very little Armenian shit, like, you know what I'm saying? You probably would have been like,
But that's not me, you know?
no, I know. Like your parents made, like, you ended up in a cultural community, so you had that huge cultural clash of where it's like, yo, where the fuck do I fit?
Yeah, and then like you take on like specifically like with that lineage, you know, some like post-generational trauma and all that stuff plays a part. And then
Allegedly.
See, in my mother's lineage, post-generational booty loving has played a part because my granddaddy liked booty on that side.
sense.
You know what I'm saying? And I like booty, and a lot of my cousins like booty. So like it might skip a generation or something. But no, my uncle likes booty too. So like it doesn't skip at all. It's straight. You know, we all like booty.
It's a genetic thing.
It runs it like it's not. I don't consider it trauma. I consider it love. But like but yeah, it definitely runs in the blood. It just I'm with you on that. Yeah, like it's locked in there somehow. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Even my older sister likes booty. It's weird. She might like it more than me, which is odd. Yeah, so there are fireworks happening in the background because
Is it
people in
fireworks?
Massachusetts have no goddamn fucking sense. You think there are shootings happening out in Brighton?
Yeah,
Like,
Okay.
there's got to be fireworks.
They just were coming in quick. But anyways.
What 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 is it called? The Jewish kids across the street are having a shootout right now. Like,
Oh, God
someone pulled a
forbid.
gun on him one time.
what's their
forbid.
sect? What's the sect that's there?
Hasidic?
Is that the one with the
yeah.
curly Q?
Yeah.
Thingy thing?
Yeah.
I don't know what they're called, guys. Don't come at me. Y'all don't know what anything happening
Don't
is
at
called.
me,
Don't
bro.
start. You know what I'm saying? Don't at me, dog.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, back to Armeni meanie. Is that what you guys call a small Armenian dick? Armeni weenie?
Now we do.
A mini Armeni weenie?
Meanie weenie. That's awesome.
Now
Oh
we do.
man, I'm sorry. Oh shit, you can hit bad people with that shit.
All right, so fast forward to the first person you're sort of like dating or started doing some stuff with.
Canoodling with. Canoodling.
Okay. So there was one or two people who I had heavy crushes on but never really did anything with in like middle school. And then my first boyfriend, I was in like I was like freshman year of high school. And he was like my first all of the things for the most part, like all of the big things. And I dated him through like on and off through high school, all 4 years, and then we like officially broke up like the first month or so when I was in college. And it was for the better.
Why?
Who made the decision?
Me. Yeah.
Why?
We like got into some shit, and I mean he was just like kind of like a shit boyfriend at the time. Like he lied to me all the time. He went behind my back. Like he was just constantly dishonest, which definitely played a part in like my paranoia in future relationships just because of that behavior. And it took a long time to like break that. I think even still sometimes it like pops up. I attribute some of the other stuff more recently to more recent relationships. But I think that like fucked me up for like a couple relationships like that were upcoming after that.
You carried that baggage into the next few relationships?
Oh yeah, like I mean I had to hide that whole relationship from my parents. Like I wasn't allowed to date in high school or anything like that. As far as they were concerned, I wasn't allowed to date until after college. And I think that is like a super old world, in my opinion, barbaric way to think, because how would you expect someone to have the social skills to date when you're that age? It's unreasonable. And that's the way that it used to be when in that generation. So I understand where it's coming from, but I always knew that like that wasn't gonna work for me. I was like, that's gonna be a no for me, dog. Like I can't wait that long. I didn't even want to wait that long to wear eyeliner. Like
see, African parents are exactly the same. Like no, like they'll be like no opposite sex, no opposite sex, no opposite sex, and then all of a sudden you graduate college and they're like, where's the grandchildren?
Yeah.
It's like, how did I get it?
And
how do I even get to fuck first? Like,
here's another
Yeah,
thing.
because after college, there's nothing left, so they're bored and they just reset and they're like, we want another form of child to raise.
Yes.
Here's the other thing, like being, I think just in general from that part of the world, like especially if you're first generation, there is like a certain stigma of like how you have to look. Like you have to be very groomed and like pretty to like attract a husband, and it's like instilled in you for a very long time. And there's like things that you do or wear or say that like are appropriate at a certain age that are not at another. And like I also had a problem with that. Like I just distinctly like remember like when I was in high school, like I wanted to wear eyeliner. I didn't even care about any of the other like makeup. I was just like, I really like the way that looks. I feel like that fits me. I'm like, I feel like I look dumb or whatever. Not dumb, but like I just didn't like my face without it. That's the way I like to look. And like I wasn't allowed to wear makeup. Like I had to like convince my mom to like for years. I'm like, I just want to wear eyeliner. Like it's just so dumb. And like I had to do that about like certain clothes, and like it was just very conservative. It was like a very, very conservative upbringing. Like I went to like church and Sunday school every Sunday. Like my mom was like Sunday school valedictorian, so I wanted to like carry on that tradition. There wasn't anything particular you had to do. You just had to attend classes.
Yep.
And like I did, and then I was like I wrote like the best speech or like whatever it was. I don't know. And like I think back and I was like, that's not that important to me anymore. But at the time it was. I don't know. I think just because I wasn't able to like break free of those like traditions at that point.
Well, no. I think that's just being a young woman.
Yeah,
because
that's true.
The if you ever give a young girl her report card, she's like, "Mommy, Daddy, here, in your face." Boys are like, "Okay, it's in my backpack."
Not always. I
You know
like
what I
there
mean?
were certain subjects where I was like, I know I'm not gonna perform.
No, very true. But like, I'm
like I'd try, but I was like, no, for
like,
sure not.
In the ways that you're different, you're still, you know what I'm saying? Like you still have those feelings, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That still exist there because you may be different, but like you're want to gratify your parents.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
Most little girls go through that. Guys, it's like
Especially when
you, but, like,
when you're foreign and you have immigrant parents.
it's double. I think you feel it double.
It's just instilled in you that you have to be this way. It's just expected of you. You know what I mean? And like I think from a young age that like there are just certain things. There's like something a little bit off, and it took a really long time. And like, I guess the resistance like that I had to feel against my parents to start going to therapy to figure out like, oh, I for sure have ADD. You know what I mean? And that explains so many different behaviors and patterns in my life and relationships too. So like just I've always known that, but was never able to like prove that until later in my adult life.
One thing that I've said to a lot of, I've been saying to parents is that I feel like for some people, ADD can be a superpower.
Mm-hmm.
while for others it can really be a hindrance. But at the same time, I feel like you should teach them how to work with it than medicate.
Yeah.
Because I had a kid, like I knew a kid growing up. Dude, he rewired his parents' car. You know what I'm saying? And like this was like in like early high school days. You know what I mean? He kept getting medication, and like eventually like he getting arrested all the time. And all like it's a completely different trajectory. You know what I mean? Like it would have gone right. He would have learned to control it. Would have gone right.
Yeah.
Like I think there are more constructive ways.
I mean, I didn't get that diagnosis until I was 25 years old.
Great.
And like
That's awesome.
my brain, quote unquote, is developed, by then, according to science.
But you see how many podcasts you run now?
Yeah, no, but like
It takes a
I've
little bit
always,
of
like
ADD
you
to do
said,
that it takes a lot of ADD to do that shit.
I've always like thought of it as a superpower, as you say. You know what I mean? That's very Kanye.
Yeah, I mean,
But I don't know. Like it's only been a hindrance if I've allowed it to be.
exactly.
Same thing with depression.
Why the fuck is it a disadvantage that I can focus on 20 things at the same time? Why is that a bad thing?
It could be a bad thing.
It can be if you don't learn to control it.
Yeah, no, but there are days that it's just activated. And I don't know if a lot of people know this, but there's something called like, for loose terms, like the Big Four or something like that. And it's like if you have
Slayer, Megadeth, Metallica, Anthrax. Yeah.
No. Head, anal, motorboating, and I can't come up with I'll put on the spot. I don't know. I was trying really hard.
It's okay if you have one, you have all four. They're just not, maybe one's not activated or another, and it's genetic. It's anxiety, depression, ADD, and like mood disorders like bipolar and things like that. And it can be activated by different things that happen in your life, like different traumas and stuff like that. So, and it can be activated by post-generational trauma. So a lot of people actually have those behaviors and they just don't know it. And then later in their adult life, if they like choose to kind of explore it, that's usually when they figure it out. And that's what happens to, specifically a lot of Americans, but outside this country, that it's not treated the same way.
Okay.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah.
I mean, in Africa, if you start acting up, they just spank you.
Well, that's why it's really hard for like only
Spanking's
child
effective.
of like immigrant parents to like be like, hey, I'm trying to go to therapy. And they're like, for why?
African parents would be like, okay, I'm not paying for it.
Right.
like African parents.
They're like, why do you come back different every time? And I'm like, what do you mean, healed? Like, the fuck?
My parents are like, I hate that you argued. Then don't send me to college. Like, the fuck you mean?
Yeah, then don't educate me.
Like, I want you to think for yourself. Why are you thinking for yourself?
Right, exactly. It's very hard for immigrants sometimes.
Okay, so back to relationships. stuff.
No, we're going to stay on immigrants.
That's fine. I'm waiting for questions, dude.
You're running us through your history.
Okay, where do you want me to go next?
So
linearly.
Where was the first relationship where you had your first big lesson?
Ooh, definitely my first one.
What was that lesson?
That was like being super controlled.
So your first sexual relationship or your first relationship?
It was the same relationship. Like my
years
first
later or for years?
No, my first relationship, like through high school, like my first boyfriend, who was also my first like
everything.
all sexual whatever for the most part.
Did he do a good job of training you in your first experiences? Or no?
I think so.
You think, oh wow. Okay.
Well, also I was like, I don't know. I was like open to a lot at that time because I was just already curious. But like at the same time, there was a lot of restrictions. But he also just kind of like sprung things on me, and like
Pinky in the booty hole.
I'm not saying it was always good, but like sometimes I was like, dude, like enough, like talking about sex and like whatever. Like it does change a little bit your outlook on sex, but at the same time, like I already had those thoughts, so it was like someone who was like willing to also like explore those things when I was ready to do it. I definitely, hindsight, think I was too young when I like first started like exploring those things, for sure. But that's just my own opinion.
No,
of myself.
you see, like at the same, like when you say that, like I believe I was a bit young when I started exploring like that type of stuff as well. But like the women that I have sex with thank me.
Maybe. I don't know.
I'm just saying. I mean, someone seems to be satisfied with the trauma.
Yeah, but I don't know.
I'm an asshole.
No, that's fine. I mean, I don't know. That's certainly something that definitely developed, like the first big step. But like, I wouldn't say that that's a thing that like, that was like 50% of the way. I mean, after that,
I mean,
the last 10 years was really the exploration.
That's fair. That's fair. There
You know?
But I mean, having someone that didn't, well, maybe, no, I don't know. Maybe that's all you. You know what I'm saying? Just that curiosity and wanting to, like, what else?
I've just always like wanted to know why.
No, you've asked me. Like, I've never had.
Fucking Christ, you do.
I've never had, like, there's only one woman that reminds me of you with how often she wants to know why. And I'm not gonna bring her up. She asked me many times not to bring her up. But anyway, like, I love that curiosity because, like, several times on this podcast, you've literally just stopped me and asked me an anal question. I don't know if you're doing it or not. You know what I'm saying? But the fact that you're even curious about it, I'm like, yo, she's curious. Like,
well, like, here's the thing. If I'm curious about it, then for sure somebody who's watching has been curious about it.
Exactly.
I can't be the first one to come up with it. I'm not that, like... I don't know.
It's the first.
I think of good ideas, but like I know I'm not like the first one to think of that idea. You know what I mean?
No, but
I don't know.
I think it's honestly beautiful that you have a question you ask, no matter how. It's an embarrassing question to most people, but like we're human. There's only so many.
Why are
things
you
can
gonna be
do.
embarrassed? What if it's cool?
It's definitely cool.
And then if it's not, just don't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Make sure you use
I don't
extra lube
know.
the first time you do it.
Take
But
a
like,
chance,
just be
call 'em
safe.
instead.
Like, I mean, it's just like the same thing with anything. Like, just be safe. Don't do anything before you're ready. And then, like, I mean, you'll know when you're ready. Just like, don't let your ego get in the way. I don't know. Isn't that what I always say?
What is this, Oprah now?
I don't know. That's just, I don't know. That's the way I've always been.
So what's your attitude towards relationships at this point?
At this point, and for a long time, I was like monogamous for sure. And I think I was like really jaded because I was cheated on a ton.
Your first relationship.
My first relationship, and then
do you feel like they led the relationship or like?
oh yeah,
Okay.
it was like their way or no way. Yeah. And then in college, I pretty much almost immediately started dating someone else, like very, very soon. And it was just because like we hooked up, and then like he was like super like interested in me for some reason. And then I was like, you know what? I'm down for this. Like whatever, this person checks these boxes for la 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 la. And we'd probably dated for like the first year of college. I later kind of put a lot of pieces together, and like he was just a pathological liar. Like just fucking
Awesome.
He just lied about like dumb shit. And it was like dumb shit that I could easily figure out. So it was like, you're one, insulting my intelligence, and two, you're being insensitive to things that like, I don't know. Like for instance, I had a friend that passed away that in a like car accident, and it was towards the end of my freshman year of college, and I won't like disclose why. We don't. There's some like reasons that we still don't know, but for like obviously if you're gonna be a little bit sensitive about people like drinking and driving and just being not safe driving or whatever, and like this kid had a fucking souped up like Ford F-150, like big ass fucking car.
He was
and
white, wasn't he?
He liked to fucking drink. He liked to do whatever else, and like was just very insensitive to like that event happening and then doing things afterwards. And like he just had a lot of like
Incongruities about
addictive problems
Okay.
that he needed to deal with, and was just lying through his teeth about all of that. So that's fine. I ended the relationship because I was like, I just don't feel like you're being truthful, and I'm not gonna like hold myself back for that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he played a sport at my college, And it was a very big sport at my college, and he played a very important role in that sport, in that team at my college. So anything that he said about
Ball
me
warmer for the wrestling team.
was
That's right.
more believed than anything that I had to say. So that was disappointing. So my sophomore, like, first semester was just torturous. Like, half the friends I made my freshman year just like turned their back on me. One of my friends, I found out later on, hooked up with him. Like, it was just like a whole fucking thing.
Girls can be savages, yo.
And then that next semester, like, studied abroad in Italy, and that fucking rocked my world.
In how many ways? In what way?
In a lot of ways, like, that was the first time I was, like, for real alone, ever.
Did you get any Italian dick?
I did. There was American dick, but, like, in Italy. At first it was good, and then it was not consensual, and I had to deal with that.
I just got mad. I was sorry. I was like, no, keep talking. I just, like, did you see my face change?
Oh, yeah.
There's one thing I believe that should always be consensual, and it's sex.
Oh, yeah.
You're invading a person's body to begin with. That you should always ask.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
Oh, yeah. And so that was something that I had to deal with. Also, like 20 days before leaving for Italy, I lost my grandmother, who I was, like, very, very close with, like, was my absolute fucking world. So it was just a very interesting, eye-opening semester for many reasons. The person that I was, like, rooming with that semester in college, I also studied abroad with, and she was a piece of shit to me. And it was just like, that was the first time I'm like, I feel on top of the world, but also I could not be lower. And it was a very interesting feeling, because I knew I wanted to do that thing in my life, like study abroad in Florence. Like, it was like my dream, like, for years. Like, I took Italian in high school so I could, like, be prepared for that. I was just, like, fucking hyped, and, like, I did it. And then, like, all of these things, like, just happened. And it was, like, the first time, like, I was like, whoa, I can't believe this is happening during this time of my life, you know? So that was a
wow.
a
You and
roller
this person I
coaster.
know have a lot more in common. She did the same thing with French, and some roller coasters happened while she was over
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Interessante.
Mm-hmm.
So life really does shape the fuck out of motherfuckers.
Oh, yeah. I want to backtrack because that actually just sparked my memory in something. I do remember one event that could be, it's not sexual, but it's sort of, like, related, that might have, like, shaped a lot of things that in the future after that. When I was in, like, 6th or 7th grade, you have to be, like, nominated and, like, accepted into this program, but it's like a student ambassador program that was started by Eisenhower, called People to People. And, like, they kind of bring, like, a number of students to, like, different countries to just, like, show, like, more tolerance and, like, acceptance of the world and, like, make peace and, like, all these things. So So I was accepted into that program, and I went to Australia and New Zealand with, like, 40 other kids.
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Hi, good day, mate.
It was pretty cool. But I had, like, my first, like, super big crush, like, on that trip, obviously.
Did you have an Australian out there throw another shrimp on the barbie?
No, but this story is actually pretty good to tell on this origin story, because it's kind of wild.
Did he kangaroo jack you?
So, his last name also
Did he
began
burn
with
your wildlife
M.
down?
You guys are okay. Just listen. His last name also began with M. So alphabetically, we were just on every single plane ride next to each other.
Oh shit.
And on the way back from Australia home, the only movie that we could watch was The Girl Next Door. Do you remember that movie?
Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah.
Okay. So imagine.
Ashton Kutcher, right?
No, The
No,
Girl
it's
Next
like,
Door.
It's like some no-name guy or whatever.
And who's the chick? Hayden Panettiere, right? I don't know, some white people.
I don't
Is
know.
that a person? I mean, you might have nailed
But
it.
you can you envision the movie
know
and
what
what's
movie we're
happening
talking about.
in the movie.
Yeah.
That was on repeat for the entire duration, and I was sitting next to my crush the entire time. So I would like to believe that probably shaped a little bit of my my then sexual adventure after that. Now, here's where it comes full circle.
How? Yeah.
Just because of the stuff that I saw in that movie.
What particularly happens in that movie?
I don't know. She just does like sex stuff.
Oh yeah, because she's like she was a hoe, but then he's like making her not a hoe, and then
Yeah,
at the
but
end,
I
she,
looked
goes
at
back
that-
to being a hoe, and he does something to risk it all.
I
well,
looked
it's
at that
another
movie and I was
But then,
like,
like, the cops come
I
for him or some shit.
am really interested in that behavior, but I know it's wrong.
being a hoe.
Yeah. But I was like,
I'm filling up right now.
Oh wow. Okay.
but I was like, I
alright.
know it's wrong, and but like you can't do that in life. Like this is the movie.
You.
But I was like, that's kind of
What-
cool.
Swingers clubs and places exist. Yeah, people do this.
Isn't it funny?
I don't
how-
know. Like you were never exposed to that as like a kid. So like when you see that, you're like, oh, that's different.
It's so funny that like women always need an excuse to feel like a whore. Like
Yeah,
guys.
yeah.
Guys are
yeah.
just like, yeah, I'm a whore.
Our
Like,
dick
I'll-
makes
I
me
don't
feel
know.
like a whore,
like-
so I am one.
Like the scary shit that a guy is willing to put himself through to get some pussy.
Yeah.
Like
Okay, so can I tell you how
versus
this?
women, they need something they need a grounding that they can go like, okay, this is why I'm a whore. Because of that.
This is
Okay,
why
can
it's
I tell
okay
you
to
how
be
this
a
comes
whore.
full circle?
The whoredom's just floating.
You're
around.
gonna hate how this comes full circle.
God.
So, years go by. Okay, we kept in touch like a little bit after this whole thing, but like for like 2 years, whatever. It's fine, not a big deal. Years go by. I run into him like fucking years later. We have a hug. He remembers me. La la la. The most that happens is he adds me on Snapchat. Fine.
It's a good sign.
Then more years go by. I'm talking fucking years, not 1 or 2, like at least 3 or 4 years go by. I don't know how it happened. He must have like slid in my DMs or something. We ended up going out on a date. And we ended up going to a place where I went all the time. Like we had dinner, fine. We went out and like one of my friends was at a bar and I was like, oh, let's go hang out there. La la. I go to this place all the time. I won't say it on the podcast, but I'll tell you after where.
But you better not bring me there.
And
Already
I never
fuck.
in my fucking life, because I'm so paranoid, I'm always the mom, I never put my drink down. But I was in the ladies' room washing my hands. That is the only fucking time I put my drink down. And 10 minutes later, I don't remember shit. And I like wake up and like we're fucking. And I knew this kid lived like an hour and a half away. So like at first I'm like, oh, in my mind, I was like, I knew I wanted to hook up with him either way. So in the moment, I'm like, this is cool. And then like I immediately like make him bring me home. And I'm like, what's happening? Da da da. I'm like trying to figure out. I'm still fucked up. I get home. The next day, I'm like, this isn't a hangover. Like, this is just not a hangover. First, I asked someone who I knew was roofied before. Definitely was roofied. But I'm not 100% convinced that it was him, but I'm not 100% convinced it wasn't. You know what I mean?
Who else would it have been? The rogue roofier?
I don't know. But, like, this same bar has had a reputation of people disappearing.
Oh, that's a good reason to go there.
Yeah.
No. This happened.
See how fucking
This
goofy
was
that
like
As often as she
no.
does.
This bar I go to all the time, which
All
No.
the fucking
Listen.
time.
by the way, people get kidnapped.
Listen.
I haven't disappeared yet.
No. Listen. This was and like when I tell you later what bar it is, it'll make sense. It was like at the same time things were happening, but like it hadn't happened yet. But
Variety
there was
bar,
somebody like lurking around that time. So like I don't know what to believe, but somebody there, something happened there, whoever it was. But that's how that came full circle.
He didn't roofie you. He just cleaned up on it. Like,
Oh,
what the
for
fuck?
sure. And then I called him out on it, and he was like, "Do you think that I roofied you?" And I was like, "Did you?" And he was like, wow.
That's a smooth response, by the way.
You know what I'm saying,
That's a
right?
question with a question.
And then
counterpunch.
wow.
Do you think that I did?
Yeah.
Oh.
Or I wouldn't have said it. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, obviously he denied it, but like, I'll never actually know.
Yep.
Hook 'em up
Yeah.
to a lie detector.
Wow.
Find out.
So then,
I be up all night. Man, your bitch showing love all night. She know that a